where we discuss and also report issues and developments as reported by the Nigerian dailies. I'm not the only one in the studios. I'm being joined by my colleague, Faith.
Good morning, Adegwega.
Well, together we should do this, and with me I have The Nation, The Punch, and The Vanguard.
And viewers, with me is the Nigerian Tribune, The Punch newspaper, and The Guardian newspaper, as well as The Nation newspaper.
On the front page of The Nation, I have fear over 23 Nigerians on death row in Saudi Arabia, with a rider how ministry's late response led to execution of Nigeria. With another rider, Consul General writes Minister, 23 Nigerians are on the death row in Saudi Arabia. They may be beheaded anytime from now. Besides, 11 are 7 various jail terms for drug trafficking in the Saudi Arabia kingdom. Another suspected trafficker is also awaiting trial. Faith, well, at this point, you remember these are Nigerians. They traveled out to Saudi Arabia in the bid to make to earn a living, and it shows that a lot of people are desperate to get over poverty.
Yes, I'm sure they actually left the country out of the expectation that their escape to Saudi Arabia would give them a better life. Then it is really pathetic that they have to take to drug trafficking, and in that country, Saudi Arabia, there are stringent laws against drug trafficking. As far as killing self, that's one of the penalty. That's the major penalty for drug trafficking in Saudi Arabia. So even if Nigerians are going to travel out of the country, I think it's just wise to have good means of survive in those countries. Many people are traveling out of the country today out of frustration. Many persons just want to escape the present harsh economic condition of the country,
Well, you will quite agree with me that the local, the state, and the federal government, they need to do something desperately about the economy of Nigeria.
Especially to address the last report that was released by the United Nations on Nigeria being classified as the 6th most miserable and a country housing world most hungry people in the world. It is really alarming, and we just hope the federal government will do something.
And stakeholders are of the view that development with reference to the economy is overwhelming this particular political administration. That's an observation from some economic
some observers even say that they are not sure the present administration can solve all the bulk of economic security and so much more problems we have in the country, and we really hope this is not true.
Well, it is true. Fear over 23 Nigerians on death row in Saudi Arabia. With a rider, how ministry's late response led to execution of Nigerians. Consul General writes Minister. Here we have some of them. They've been in prison in the last 10 years, 15 years, and 20 years. They've been in prison, and of course, it's time to execute them. Eventually, they cannot be there in jail forever. So, according to the law of the kingdom, they must die. And so, it sends a message and a signal to this federal government, according to observers, that they should not be overwhelmed. Something desperately should be done about the economy of Nigeria.
And even Nigerians too, even as much as they are trying to escape the present harsh condition, they should also, when traveling out, should also think of doing good things. Sensible, sane things that will keep them safe outside the country.
Power outage remains an indefinite issue.
Well, it's not just power outage. We have so many other issues that are begging for attention, and we just wish the attentions will come right in time.
Still on the front page of the Nation newspaper, monarchs indicted in Northwest violence, and that's on page 6 of the Nation. The story continues on page 6 of the Nation. Federal government blames monarchs for Northwest violence. Defense Minister General Mansour Tan Ali yesterday warned those collaborating with bandits to desist or face the full wrath of the law. Relying on security reports, the minister said some highly placed persons, including traditional rulers, have been collaborating with troublemakers. In a statement in Abuja by his public relations officer, Colonel Tuku Guso, the minister said the federal government and the Nigerian armed forces are taking proactive steps to curtail the problems in Zamfara by launching various operations, but the activities of the collaborators. Remember, this is our defense minister,
yes,
a retired army officer, and is indicting some monarchs who expectedly should be on top of issues and development in their locality.
People that are meant to uphold peace and security in their own areas are now being said to be involved in supporting violence.
Well,
it's really confusing.
It's a little bit unfortunate. And well, still on the front page of the Nation, abductors demand 3 million naira for fire service chief, and that's on page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Page 4 of the Nation newspaper. Kidnappers demand 3 million naira for fire service chief. The kidnappers of the Lagos State Fire Service, acting director Rasaki Musibao, have demanded 3 million naira from his family. Well, Musiba and 6 others were abducted at Iwoye along the Ekpe-Itoikin Road, Ikorodu, last Saturday. The incident, it was gathered, occurred while the fire service chief and others were going to Ekpe. Well, where people look for a means of livelihood,
they take to different.
In the absence of a means of livelihood, they resort to. Now, this man, the fire service chief in Lagos, has been in the custody of kidnappers. And kidnappers, everything is boiling down to the economy.
Yes.
If they had something constructive doing, they wouldn't even have bothered on this. So the question stakeholders are asking, how do you get rid of
all of this? Well, we really hope the government will be able to get rid of all of this. So yesterday, an analyst was saying that the major issues Nigeria has at the moment is economic, ranges from economic issues to security issues to even the Nigeria's dying educational system. So if all of these things can be tackled in time, I am sure things will change for better, and even Nigerians out there that are looking for every means to get out of the country will have every reason to stay in the country.
People are traveling out of the country.
In fact, they are even traveling out not to get there to have a good life. They just want to get out of the country.
Take up whatever is available in order to survive.
All right, I move on to the Nigerian Tribune. And first on the paper is bandits control 8 camps, over 3,000 killed, 500 villages affected. Zamfara governor has said this, and it's on page 4 of the Nigerian Tribune. It's really disturbing that a governor is coming out to say something like this. And we really expect and we hope that the government over there will find a lasting solution to all of these reports of violence, and even the federal government will be able to come out right in time to help that state to get out of this condition. FG warns traditional rulers against colluding with bandits. That's coming again from the Nigerian Tribune, as you read in the Nation the other time. You know, traditional rulers that are meant to be making things work are now alleged of colluding with some bandits,
and so
to disturb peace in the state.
Bandits control 8 camps, and that's an extension of Boko Haram into the northwestern part of Nigeria. The Ministry of Defense should be at the alert.
I really hope they are at the alert. They established army division in Sokoto to combat banditry in northwest. Air Force launches Operation Saftan Daji. Nigerians in UK protest. One state of emergency declared. IGP visits Zamfara. You know, even if the state of emergency is declared, one will hope, or one will always imagine that let's hope that something good will come out of it. Even if tomorrow a state of emergency is declared, let's hope that even after the state of emergency is called off, we won't still have a repetition of what has happened again.
Well, that is if the economic issues are properly dealt with.
So it still all goes back to the issues of economy.
Would like to survive.
All right. Police dismiss 9 officers, demote 6 others for misconduct. That's on page 37 of the Nigerian Tribune. Justify 150 million naira you got to fix roads, or your assembly tells local government chairman Otu Roma. That's on page 6 of the Nigerian Tribune. I have the defense minister saying here that the armed forces have been directed to deal decisively with anybody identified as helping the bandits under disguise what's of, no matter how highly placed. That's coming from the defense minister. And Governor Yari has said, still on the Zamfara bandits issue, that nearly 500 villages have been devastated and 8,219 persons injured. Some are still in critical condition. The economy of the state has seriously suffered because thousands of shops were destroyed by the rampaging bandits who had placed thousands of their people, many of whom can no longer sleep with their two eyes closed. You know, all of these things, we really hope that these issues are going to be sorted out in no time. And up on the Nigerian Tribune, I have Osinbajo wants CBN, NDIC to take funding of N-Power, trader money, others. That's continued on page 10. And to read a little of what we have on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, I have contending that present structure of microfinance institutions has failed. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has called on the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation to take over the funding and management of N-Power, trader money, market money, and other such programs. Well, that's it on the Nigerian Tribune. And last on the paper, I have INEC holds Kogi Bayelsa governorship polls November 2. That's coming from page 7 of the Nigerian Tribune. And this time that INEC is telling us that the Kogi and Bayelsa state governorship election will take place November 2. We really hope that INEC will make everything on ground and will ensure that the election at that time will be conclusive once and for all this time.
It's a challenge for them to improve on their previous performance.
I mean, we won't have to go back for inconclusive elections. All right.
To the Punch newspaper, INEC says distribution of uncollected PVCs to resume soon. And that's on page 21 of the Punch newspaper. And still with the Punch, killings in North. ACF meets today. As minister says, top traditional rulers aiding bandits. Criminals killed 3,526 in Zamfara, Yari. And now to the Vanguard newspaper, Afenifere Ohaneze, Pandit, others tackle Buhari. Insecurity. With the rider, Nigeria needs retooling to tackle insecurity. And that's Afenifere. PDP charged Buhari over rising insecurity. Pandit expresses alarm. Keep off Igboland. Ohaneze, once killer, headsmen. As Buhari other security agencies to end cultism in Rivers. Another rider, politicians, royal fathers, aiding bandits in the north, says defense minister. Well, that's about all we can afford to take on this episode of AM Cafe. That's a review of issues and development as reported by the Nigerian dailies. I'd like to say thank you very much for letting us be a part of your Wednesday morning. I am Adegboyega. Thanking you for having stayed tuned.
Thanks for having stayed tuned. Thanks for joining us on the newspaper review section of AM Cafe. We take you back to Ibadan now, where we have a continuation of the program. My name is Faith Agbetia. Join us tomorrow for another beautiful edition of the section with us. Good morning.